the purpose that I called this meeting for was to begin the next step that's necessary for us to initiate the process of dissolving the L M A board. But I first want to talk to people and find out what their thoughts are. I am not a board member. I am a business owner here and a public person here and a homeowner here, and I protest paying assessments to the L M A because I do not see them over the 16 years that they have been around fulfilling the purpose of the common interest development. That's what this is a common interest development that we are charged assessments for the maintenance and repair of the public pedestrian walkways, the sidewalks, the walkways between the buildings, and the maintenance, preservation, and use of our few common ground lots that we have. One right next door is the little park with the 2 picnic tables in it, is one of our common ground lots. Another common ground lot is at the end of the north end of Main Street, which is being used as a parking lot. And then the community gardens in the back, those are common ground lots that the 32 property owners here, you're one, I'm one, and there are 30 others who own properties in Locke. Some people own more than one property. I only own one property, this one here. But we are assessed monies, and we collectively own those common ground lots. We also own this one that has been turned into the Chinese Memorial Park, but that's actually a Locke property owner community park, but it's been purposed for a memorial. It's not purposed for playground for the kids who live in the community. It's a place for people to go there. A place for people to go there and stand like this and be respectful. It's not a place to have music jams or to swing on a swing or slide on a slider back and forth. It's a place to go and look at the bricks that are being sold and an obelisk that has a claimed history that only recognizes one of the many cultures that have been here in Locke for a long time. And then this little park was recently turned into yet another memorial park when they placed 2 large plaques in it that don't mention anybody else. And it's not a sliding board, it's not a swing set, it's not anything for the community to enjoy. And they also removed the pedestrian walkway that was there, and they created, in doing so, they cut the cement there and created a trip hazard. And then if people are walking there or somebody drives a wheelchair onto it, it's not wheelchair material.
Who's running the L M A right now?
I believe it is, maybe James can answer that for us. James, who are the remaining board members?
You were at the last meeting. You know as well as I do.
Okay, so you don't have any more information either then, huh? At the last meeting, there were 4 board members of the 13-member original board. People have been quitting. James was one of the people who resigned recently. The 4 remaining ones in September, at September 16th meeting, they discussed since the other board members are all quitting, who's going to be the chairman, who's going to be the secretary, who's going to be the treasurer, and Brock is the vice chairman still, I guess. And then Brock announced that, well, I'm going to quit. I'm going to resign within a couple of days, he said. I'm going to submit my resignation. I haven't seen the resignation letter yet, but it might be out there somewhere. on the internet or, in an email to Don Natoli. Nobody knows.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
so that way,
And then-
to talk to somebody, like, they should have contractors, actual real contractors doing all this work. So that way it has a guaranteed work, and there's no trip hazards, there's none of that.
Oh, right. Well, they've
They
had
should be
16.
insured,
I know,
They
and
shouldn't-
they've had 16 years to address
I think that
the
would be a good
problems, the
idea,
trip hazards, and the
That way none
fire.
of this work it's all guaranteed by a company and it's warranted, So
Right.
that way, if anything happens, it'll be under warranty. Their general liability will handle that work, and it'll cover it. Because I see a lot of work that's not really good work,
Right.
They should get fixed.
Right.
This whole concrete, all this.
Oh, it's a mess.
I don't do concrete, but you
Right.
guys need to get.
It's a mess. There's trip hazards everywhere, and there's curbs, going
I
on
know a
both
lot
sides of the street.
contractors. I know a lot of general contractors that will come
do?
and do some good work,
Good.
So I could refer some people to, if they need
Excellent,
that work.
excellent.
Electricians, everything,
Right.
whatever they need.
This is
That
such
are-
a
that-
huge
that
project.
They'll have $2 million liability insurance if something does go wrong, because
Right.
concrete always cracks. There's always a problem.
Oh,
with concrete.
yeah, concrete
There's
always
always
cracks.
going to be a problem, So
Yeah,
to fix that problem, you would have to get a contractor. He'll come in, fix it, and then
right,
if it does mess up, they'll come and fix it for free. So
right.
that'll be handling all the issues in Locke. I think
Yeah.
that would be some type of goal to try to reach.
Are you in contracting
Yeah.
business?
Yeah, I'm a contractor.
What kind of
I'm
work
a
do
mason
you do?
contractor.
Mason. That's right. You told me that in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do masonry, but I got friends that are general contractors. They do everything, from electrician work to
Right.
plumbing to.
Well,
Because I hear a lot of stuff like I don't know really the rules of what goes on. Because she wants to fix her house up, but she's like, I can't do anything because somebody's gonna tell us something about how to do it.
Right.
So as long as you go through the Sacramento, the county,
The
they
county.
should tell you everything, how to do everything, right?
yes, I've gone through the process 8 times.
I don't know how it works out here.
I've gotten 8 separate building permits in the last 11, since 2010. 4 different houses, but I've gotten 8 different, and it's a process, but it can be done, and they'll help you through the process.
But it's just little stuff that she wants to do, like her fence break-in. She wants to just
Fence you can
fix
probably
it.
do as long as you don't build it over 7 feet, but
Yeah. I know most of the laws about construction,
right.
but I don't know the Locke laws. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of hard.
Well, they're
when
different
she's-
for different people.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. I really noticed that.
And actually, it's not true. There is very firm rules that things are followed by. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I just don't
There
know
is
how
no
to go about it.
favoritism. There is no. It's all about process. It's never about personality.
Yeah, I
That's
just didn't
not
wanna-
always
I
true.
didn't
That
wanna
hasn't
do
been my
anything.
experience, but
I can go through the county and get permits and all that stuff, but I don't know if Locke Management has like a certain rule if you go and do something, So I don't
Well,
want to.
everything's clearly stated in very written documents. The CC&Rs, the special planning area, which was Locke is not part of. They're easily gotten to. They're easily understood, and they're easily followed.
How would I obtain those?
go to the county.
Go to the county.
That's your best place. Go to the county. They'll give you a special planning area. 32 pages it is. It's also online. If
Okay.
you Google search Locke, California, special planning area. And it did change about 3 years ago. They changed a few of the rules. Not much, but it is still kind of daunting to look at, confusing. But if you go down there and you say, hey, I want to change my door, my this, my that.
And they'll just tell you right then. Okay.
They'll tell you what you
They'll
need
break
to
it down.
do.
Okay.
And there is supposed to be a Locke Design Preservation Committee that is also the LMA board, which is either down to 2 members, 3 members, or 4 members of a 13-member board at this point. We don't know how many are remaining because we haven't seen Brock Alexander's resignation letter, and we haven't seen Daryl Wu's yet, so we don't know if they're still on the board.
So is the board rebuilding right now, or are they
No,
trying to rebuild?
no, and the whole,
That's why this
the
meeting
purpose
is for.
that we're here is because Glenn Lazoff, the new board member, who is representing the county,
Okay.
and Don Natoli's position, in the Board of Supervisors of
Okay.
the county, he brought it up during the first agenda item on September 16th, 2019, just about a month ago, a little more than a month and a week ago. He brought up the possibility of talking about dissolution, dissolving, getting rid of the board, getting rid of the assessments, and just giving the control back to the county. My school of thought on that is it is a tough process because there's legal steps you have to take to dissolve. The first step is a board discussion. Now, there was a board discussion for 15 minutes at that September 16th meeting. It was not supposed to happen that way because it wasn't listed on the agenda, so it was a Brown Act violation. There's lots and lots of Brown Act violations persistently that the LMA has done for many years, and I have a personal complaint against them through the courts now for some of their ongoing Brown Act violations. And the Brown Act has to do with public participation, allowing the public and you and me and Jean and anybody else to participate in the meetings and to be apprised of when actions are being taken, board actions to allocate our monies for different things, including legal work that they've hired their lawyers to do in multiple actions against me, actions against other people in the association. There's been a lot of Brown Act violations, including those over the years, and I am asking the judge to issue an order that they must follow the Brown Act. We'll see what they have to say when we go to court. It's going to probably be another 6 months before we get the court hearing. The court processes take forever and ever, and they keep getting bumped and extended and this and that. But meanwhile, each day, every day, like today and tomorrow and the next day, I'm making a guesstimate that every single day the lawyers for the Locke Management Association board are charging Maria and myself and the other 30 property owners of Locke. They're adding it up, tallying it up, probably adding another $200 or $300 a day in legal fees.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, it's expensive.
For these discriminatory lawsuits that they have filed and that they are continuing and refusing to come to settlement agreements, refusing to participate in mediation and settlement talk. Maria and everybody else in this association, we are not being apprised of who's talking to these lawyers at $350 an hour.
Yeah.
And who's sending these lawyers emails and giving them the go-ahead to keep these lawsuits going and to continue and to file new lawsuits on other people without the 32 of us
Actually there.
who are being charged into our future at the tune of about $250,000 right now, maybe, in debt. They've put us in debt, this board.
So what happens at the end of the year or after the end of the lawsuit that they're going to have to
Nobody
pay?
knows at this point.
Can I have a
Jane.
few minutes here?
You can have
So-
3 minutes.
No, we're not doing official.
You know what? This is my house.
Okay.
You
There
guys.
was a contrary view, Paul. And I would be happy to tell you what the contrary view is. Martha has her view.
And
There's
if
a
you
whole
start
separate view.
slandering me
There's no
and
slander.
libeling me,
There is no slander.
Okay,
Martha.
good.
We only deal with facts. I don't
your
slander.
version of facts might not be
but
the same as mine. And
but
I
they're
reserve the right
non-slanderous.
to show you the exit door.
You can certainly do that, Martha. I will
Okay.
respect you for that.
Good.
But there's a contrary view of things. You were asking Paul about the LMA and what should be happening at this point. What should be happening is that there should be an outreach to all the members, the 32 members of the association, to have an election, to have new people be nominated to sit onto the board, to have that become the focus of how to move forward. And once the new property owners, like Maria or somebody else who wants to sit onto the board, can take seats and take on to the various duties of those seats, right? Then we will once again have a functioning board, which is the very first step. The possible disillusionment of the board is like the piece of paper that I showed you, which is from the bylaws that simply state that in order for the LMA to be dissolved, first of all, you have to have all of the debts paid for. There is a tremendous amount of money, probably about $250,000, as Martha said, that's owed to lawyers for an ongoing litigation that Martha was very much involved with. And the courts have awarded, this is all public information, this is not me slandering anything. The courts have repeatedly ruled on every step of the litigation. The litigation was about the purchase of the building there on the corner by Martha. The courts ruled that that building the purchase of that was improper, and that we, the LMA, got it back. We sold it to the current owner.
Chris Lee.
Yes, dear.
Hey there. Are you coming to my meeting or no? You're just
No, it's been a long fucking day.
Okay.
So the litigation from that, which was actually the reason that litigation was even started, was because a number of property owners who lived up on Levy Road asked that the LMA, the board members, stop the sale of that because it was such a low, the amount of the sale was so minor, small, that the other property owners felt that it was too low, and they actually wrote a letter to the LMA, and they all signed it and said, we want this sale to be stopped. We want this to be, because this is not fair to our property values. So the LMA hired a lawyer, a legal firm, then to pursue this unlawful sale, because the Locke Management Association has the first right of refusal. It's not to award it to somebody else, but the association, as a way of protecting the property values, has a way of saying, okay, this building was sold way undervalued. We are going to be the first ones who want to buy it because we have the first right of refusal. And they exercised because it had already gone through, the title had already changed, we had to go into a lengthy litigation. That litigation took years and cost a tremendous amount of money. It was awarded to us. We've won, the LMA, the Locke Management Association, has won in Superior Court, it has won in the appellate courts. It has won every step of the way.
No, it hasn't.
It's just a matter of time until the final bill comes due, and that it's going to have to be paid.
So who do you think is going to pay it, Mr. Motlow?
Martha, you have been, the courts have said repeatedly that it is your debt.
No, they haven't.
Okay, well...
What courts have said that?
Martha, this is a distraction. So, the other thing is that, so the legal fees that the law firm that we still have that's doing all this is waiting for the appellate courts to finally work through all of their nuances to where the day will be said, okay, this is it, this person has to pay. Courts always take a long time.
Yeah.
And in the end, the person who is in fault will pay. This is what's happening. So we're very patient. When that happens, there'll be plenty of money in order to take on any of these projects. If you're concerning about the alleyways in between the buildings, those are divided between the two property owners. Of course, the LMA, when I was involved with it, would love to take on more projects. But because we had very little money to deal with, because a number of property owners who have said, we don't want to pay. Martha, in fact, just stated up here that she is not paying her assessments for her own reasons. And that is one of the problems that we've had, that I've actually, when I was treasurer, I've taken Martha to court, and she has been the court has awarded us her back assessments, in which she has paid at some point.
Okay, Mr. Motlow, your 3 minutes are up.
Is that it then?
No.
Okay,
Your
well,
3 minutes are up.
That's fine. That's fine. You have a long time. I think that this is fine. I've said
Okay, then
everything
stop
I
talking,
need to say.
please. I'm
And
sorry.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very
you.
much, Marie. If you ever have any questions, there are a number of us who understand
Who think
really
they're still on the
mechanics of
board,
this,
but he quit on the
and
board.
that,
He quit.
And that can help you understand anything that you need to say. We don't want to be.
I have a question for you, Mr. Motlow. Which board members, if it's board members, maybe it's the former board members who are still talking to these lawyers, who's giving them direction to continue making filings?
I have no knowledge about any of that, Martha.
Really? Have you ever talked on the telephone to the BPE Law Group?
I beg your pardon.
Have you ever spoken on the telephone to the BPE Law Group?
That's a very accusatory question.
No, it's just a question.
In my capacity as the treasurer of the Locke Management
You're not the
Association.
treasurer anymore.
Okay, that's
Or
what
the treasurer.
You framed your question as if I ever.
Yes,
And
have
so-
you ever in the past?
In my duties as the treasurer for the Locke Management Association, I have spoken to a variety of people who have our best interest and perform legal duties for us.
At BPE Law Group?
You can make that up if you want. I don't.
I'm
feel like
making it up. Okay,
I don't
so-
feel like I need to tell you anything.
Okay.
You know, if you have some sort of agenda that you want. Oh, the final thing, Paul. The LMA never violated the Brown Act. We adhere to the Brown Act strictly. And all
Okay.
of Martha's accusations have never gone anywhere. They've always been thrown out. They've been investigated because that's the duty of bodies, and when they receive a complaint, they have to be investigated. We've been investigated. We have come out totally on the right side because we've always done the right side. We've always done what is right.
Where have you seen that?
So,
From the 2015 grand
thank you
jury
very much.
report?
Paul, thank you. Yes. Okay. Have a very good evening.
Darn it, I was
Thank
hoping
you
you'd
very
stay
much.
more and answer some more questions. Okay, thanks, Mr. Motlow.
I'll show my way. I know my way out.
Thank you. I did get a text message from Mr. Lazoff, the board member, who what did he say? He said, Glenn Lazoff said, I invited him to come here tonight. He said, well, we have a common purpose. I see no reason not to dissolve the LMA. I'm looking for the best route. Should have more info in a week or two. What might really help is if anyone can help locate Dustin, so we can maybe call a meeting next week or thereafter.
Oh, Dustin.
Dustin Marr. Yeah. Do you ever see him?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times.
Okay, because apparently Glenn, the other board member, hasn't been able to get a hold of him.
I haven't seen him in a couple days.
Glenn, or I mean,
Dustin.
Dustin, Mark?
I always see
Okay.
him.
I see you today in the morning.
Oh, you seen
Okay.
him? Yeah, he's always, yeah.
He always, he come
In the morning.
In the morning early.
Okay. Well, then Dustin needs to get on board. But
So how would she go about using her weight? You know, like her being a part of
the next step that we need to take to help dissolve the association is a legal step. That is that 5%. Hey there, Josie, come on in.
Wow, your place is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Hello. Wow, look at that. So beautiful.
Josie, that's Jean Bealey with the video camera, and
Hi.
you're going to be on the World Wide Web if that's
What's
okay.
up, world? How are you? Have you guys
Josie's
been
the
here?
new
Welcome
girl
to Locke. So many great things. I love your bed and breakfast. It's absolutely
Thank you.
stunning.
Thank you kindly.
I don't know why you would
this is
ever want to
Maria.
sell this building. It's so beautiful.
Well, I want to sell the businesses as well. But
Oh.
anyway, this is Maria. If you don't know Maria, Maria lives kind of
Hi.
behind you a little couple on
Hi, Maria.
Street.
You
And
look
this is-
like is that
And this is
Michael.
Paul.
Mom?
Mom, all
I
right.
remember your older daughter, or was it your older daughter? One of them hit my car. It was totally fine. Totally fine. I'm joking.
Anyway, let me continue. That's okay. Where was I? Oh, the next step we need to take to dissolve the LMA is that 5% of the 32 property owners, which is 2 people, you and me, 2 property owners, need to make a written request to the board, which is Glenn and Dustin, basically.
So those are the
We need
last 2 board members?
The last 2, or I don't know, Brock might still be a board member if he hasn't resigned yet. He said September 16th that he was going to resign within a day or 2. And Daryl Wu also said that he was resigning. So we don't know
What
if
is
they've
the
resigned.
purpose of all of them leaving?
You'd have to ask them. Some of them wrote long letters
I've read a bunch of them. I read some-
saying that that I was harassing
read
them by
some
asking
emails. I read
questions at
some
board
emails.
meetings.
I read like
Russell Ooms?
Russell.
And they blamed Don Natoli, the supervisor of the county,
the county
for appointing Glenn onto the board or whatever. Anyway,
I feel like that's a good way to like control this if you have people from Sacramento, you know.
well, the thing is yeah, if we do dissolve the association, we won't be double taxed anymore by the
Well,
county
yeah, you
for
won't-
our property
no,
taxes.
You only get it once. Because you get twice here, right? Because they
We
want-
get it twice here because I'm paying,
You
or
want-
I'm billed $120 a month for them to maintain these sidewalks. Now and the boardwalks, and James said that we each own the walkways between the buildings. That's true. We also own I own the sidewalk underneath my building, but the resolution that created this board and the Locke Foundation together to be one board of directors back in 2003 says that the Locke Management Association shall maintain the public walkways and the public easements and the common ground
They came out
properties.
today inspecting. Sacramento County did come out this morning and inspect the sidewalks. I did see them out.
Did they?
Yes, they did. But also, you said that
Did
you got
they
double-
inspect between the buildings too, the wood
I didn't
walkways?
get to watch all of that because I had to go to work. But I did talk with one of the gentlemen, and they said that they were inspecting the walkways. Yes. And then,
Good.
but do you also pay the $120 every month for the?
I refuse to pay because the only use of our money is to sue me and to sue 3-4 other people in the association. They're not using it for capital
They're not using it to
improvements.
clean the
They're
street.
not using it for installing necessary fire extinguishers and smoke detectors in these buildings.
Yeah.
They are not using it to put a swing set in for the 16 kids that live in the town. The kids play in the street, on Main Street. You've seen it a million times. It's very
They use
dangerous.
the money for protect this things.
But
The
I have a
only-
question because we do have a playground in the back.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Since when?
It's been there for a couple months now, right next to the
Oh, a
garden.
couple months. Okay, well, in 16 years there hasn't been one. And if there is one,
I'll be there like 2 weeks ago, and I don't think it's good for the children's play over there.
it's not good for the kids to play. Why?
No, because all the house is a little cracking, moving, and the
Oh.
kids, he can use it.
What
The
crack
ki-
head? There's a crack.
The house,
It's cracking.
yeah, it's a little,
Maybe
yeah.
it's-
Oh, you mean, what's his name? Ning's, gallery. Ning's gallery is the little shop. It's like a garage, but he keeps his paintings in there. And it
No,
is-
no, it's not by this.
Are you talking about?
But behind the garage the inn.
Did
It's
you
nothing but garage the inn.
There's nothing what?
It's not bad. The garage.
Yeah.
You see the garage pan in?
She
Right.
said it's
That's
okay.
Ning's residence, actually.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
have a- I have
somebody put a
everybody's.
little house for play.
Oh, a little playhouse.
Yeah,
like,
playhouse.
Right?
And it's no good.
It's no good.
No, because Celeste me before Celeste go to the hospital.
She went to the hospital?
She seen-
Yeah, but her baby.
Oh, to have her baby.
Yeah, she had a baby.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Your grandma
Oh, so you
again?
went
Yeah,
to go
again.
watch it and it-
And yeah,
What's the problem?
she said the playground thing is cracked or something.
It's cracked.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
weird. My
snuff
kids have spit
safety
on it,
wise.
and it seemed fine to me. When was the last time you saw it?
like 2 weeks.
Well, anyway, in 16 years, the board of Locke Management and Locke Foundation together, working together and commingling their monies together, have taken over all of our common ground parks for the purpose of putting up all these memorial sites instead of for purposes of the community. And they have
Yeah.
disallowed us from having any say in what we want done with our community parks
That
and
might be
our
good.
common ground lot at the end of the street that they charge people money to
Park their
park their car, and it's supposed to be
They do.
according to yes.
Oh, I had no idea. I've never seen anybody pay for parking. That's what.
Well,
that
I
cut
think
off.
now that 3 of the board members have quit, maybe people aren't. I've noticed that a lot of those vehicles have recently cleared out of there. But for 16 years, we have been disallowed to use that one, and then the gardens. Those have been taken over by a small group of people, and I've been told I'm not welcome back there in the community gardens. I used to paint pictures in my little garden plot, and in 2010, they wrote me a letter and told me you're not allowed to use your garden plot for anything other than gardening, and you're to remove those easels out of there. And yet they've given a large plot of our common ground that you own, and 31 other people own, including me. We own those common ground lots. Yet we're not allowed to,
Yeah.
we're not welcome back there. And they've turned it into they gave basically a huge chunk of it to the Locke Foundation. Who gave them our property? And who gave them this park? And who gave them that park? And then we have no say in our common ground, and they're not repairing those sidewalks, so I refuse to pay these assessments, and I'm already paying the county for these street lights. Comes out of my property taxes every year.
It comes out of everybody's property.
Yes, so we're
We all pay
double billed,
property
and
taxes. We're all
then the LMA bills you so that they can pay SMUD. It's the next step in the process. I'm going to write the request that we are required to start the next step in the dissolution of the Common Interest Development Locke Management Association. Please place an agenda item to initiate the process of dissolution of the Locke Management Association, period. This letter or this request is made under the guidelines, actually they're the requirements, guidelines / requirement of California Homeowners Association, HOA / Common Interest Development laws of Davis-Sterling Act. And I don't know the code section off the top of my head, but I have read it. Please schedule a public meeting and send notice. That's part of the thing they have to do. They've got like 25 days. Once they get this letter, they've got, I think it's 25 or 30 days under this code section law to formally send a letter to all of the 32 property owners that they are going to have a meeting, and then the meeting, I think, occurs or has to be scheduled like within 60 days or 60 or 90 days. Anyway, this will start that process, and then it's, they'll have to comply with their end of their next step. Since we, 5% of the association, you and me, Maria, are asking them to schedule a board meeting to address dissolution. Public meeting and send notice of the meeting to all Locke property owners. Martha Esch. Oh, should put the date on it, October, today's 21st, 2019. Okay.
802.
There we go.
Sign it.
If you want to help me start the process, get them to schedule a board meeting so that we can all discuss.
Do you want me to translate it for her?
Sure,
So that way she
sure,
knows?
yeah.
Okay, that way she fully understands.
Good. Good. You want to?
Do you want us to take it with us?
No. I want to stick it in the mail tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Read it to her maybe, or.
Thing is I would have to take it to her daughter so her daughter can tell her exactly what it is.
Okay. How about if I say it and then you
No, I understand everything.
please place
so that
an
way she-
agenda
Can you
item.
try to tell me
Please place an agenda item. That means they're going to post a notice.
L M A, no más.
yes, but
See?
And put it on the agenda.
Okay. She said.
Okay. to get rid of the to dissolve the
it's only
LMA.
money.
See.
Yeah, and
It's only
it's
money,
double
and-
taxation. Nothing. They have done nothing to improve this town in the 16 years they've been here. They've only
She's
been
here for 20
litigious.
She's been here the whole time.
You know, Martha, you know me.
Yeah,
I'll be there for.
you've
There you go.
experienced it
Yeah.
Right
too.
there, just write your name right
And
in
I
there.
don't have good experience because I know all the people and the Mexican, always speaking about me, always speaking about,
You're not the only one.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
But she's saying before you was her.
And was other
Yeah,
people.
yeah, other
There's been
people,
a lot of people who have left this town because they were driven out by certain people in the town. Okay.
You want to just sign right here or?
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, just sign it behind it, yeah.
Wonderful. Excellent. So this should start the process. Once the board receives this letter, which will be tomorrow, I might hand deliver it or have somebody hand deliver it to Glenn or Dustin, who supposedly are still on the board, and then they will have to comply with the next step in the process, which is informing all of the property owners that they're going to hold a meeting to discuss dissolution and get everybody and host a public meeting. Yeah, that's the next step. So,
Okay.
good. All right.
Good.
So she left, the one that wanted to,
Yeah.
so she said she'll be back.
Oh,
I just didn't want to.
I'm going home too.
Okay.
I think our news reporter, Jean Beely, thank you so much,
Thank
Jean,
you so
for
much.
all you've done.
Thank
All these years going to all those LMA and Locke Foundation meetings.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too.